What is up, guys? Carter Bajenko here from the Tackle Rat, and today I'm going to be breaking down everything you need to start flipping. Let's get started. Alright guys, so today I'm going to be doing a gear breakdown of what you guys need for flipping. Going to keep it very simple, and there's not a lot you need to go out and flip and catch fish, whether it's at your local pond or you're fishing lake or river. This stuff that I'm talking about in this video will work pretty much anywhere around the country. And so first I'm going to dive into rod and reel. Personally, my least favorite thing to talk about, just because I feel like it's different for everyone. What rod I say works for me might be different from what works for you guys. It depends a lot on how you guys like to fish, and your height as well is also a factor. But the setup that I got right here, that'll cover pretty much everything. There's a wide range when you talk about flipping. It can go anywhere from flipping an 1/8 ounce Senko on a Texas rig all the way up to flipping 3/4 ounce with a heavy gauge hook. Flipping deep grass, or flipping like heavy bushes and stuff like that. So, there's usually a couple different rods, but kind of that mid-range that'll cover like your quarter, anywhere from like quarter all the way up to 1/2 ounce. It's going to be the Dobyns 735. You guys have seen me talk about this rod before. It's an awesome rod. In my opinion, the best all-around rod for, the Dobyns makes. And it's a great flipping stick as well. And I like to pair, anytime I'm flipping, I like to pair it with a more low-profile reel, because when you're flipping, you're not making as long of casts, and you can kind of get away with a lighter, smaller profile reel. I just like it because it fits in your hands a little bit better. There's not as much spool capacity on this, but that lower profile reel makes it a little bit lighter and just helps with the overall performance of this setup. But what's important is that you find a rod that balances well with a lighter reel like this, because a lot of times these rods are designed around a heavier reel and not something super low profile like this. But this 735 pairs pretty nice with this rod. I do prefer 745, but I do not have one of those. I actually used it at the Toyota Series Championship. My buddy Brian let me borrow his during the tournament, and caught a lot of fish flipping with that paired with this reel, and I really like that rod, so I definitely recommend that one. But that is my setup. And then when I go lighter, like 1/8 ounce or 3/16, I'll go to like a 734 and flip straight fluorocarbon. And then when I want something heavier, I usually go to my 766, and that's like kind of a punching rod, but it'll work for like flipping heavy bushes and stuff like that. But this will cover pretty much everything that I need as far as flipping. But yeah, and then for line, I like to run 50 or 40 pound braid. I like as light as you can go. I think next year I'm gonna run 40 on this. But I feel like it allows for a little bit smoother casting when you have lighter line. It also allows for better sensitivity, in my opinion, and a little bit more action out of the bait. And I like to run a braid to fluoro leader, so you're going to get the benefits of having no stretch on braid, and then also the benefits of having clear fluorocarbon. And that FG knot is key to help it run through the guides really good, because when you're running 50 pound braid to a 20 pound fluorocarbon leader and you're not using an FG knot, it can be pretty tough, and it'll get caught up on the guides and stuff. But the FG knot definitely helps. So that's kind of what I like to run as far as setup for that. But baits and stuff, so what I got right down here is a jig. 5/16 ounce for flipping is generally, like when you're fishing a Texas rig, that's what I'll go with. I don't really throw a jig that much. Only time I'll throw it is like in the spring, or if I need something to skip around docks, because these Scott Canterbury jigs will skip under docks a lot better than just like a regular Texas rig. But that's pretty basic. And then for flipping baits, I like to keep it very simple. So pretty much two baits that I flip, and that's about it. So in the summer, and in the spring, and anytime that those fish are a little bit more active, I'll go with the Menace Grub. So it's a small profile flipping bait. It's got a lot of meat, as you can see, to hold that hook on there, and it represents a lot of things. So by this profile, it'll imitate bluegill. This color is KVD Magic, great bluegill imitation. Then there's a couple other colors like green pumpkin. They'll just imitate a craw. And you can kind of switch it up based on your conditions and where you're fishing and stuff like that. But it holds the hook really well, catches a lot of fish, and generally I'm fishing out of the back of the boat, so I need more bites. I'm not throwing like a giant flipping bait, so that's a great option. And then when I'm looking for like more of a shad imitation, I like to throw BizBait's Cutter Craw. That's another great one. But that's going to be a lot of times in the spring and the summer when your when your fish are a little bit more active, and in the fall when it gets tough, throw Sweet Beaver. So another obviously multi-species imitation. With this profile, you can imitate bluegill, shad, crayfish, pretty much anything, and doesn't have any action when it's coming through the water. All it has is these ribs that are going to move water when it's falling, and it gets tough in the fall, and that's when I like to switch to this beaver. But all of them I throw on this Gamakatsu hook. I like Gamakatsus. They're really sharp out of the package, but they do tend to roll over a little bit faster than other hooks. But as long as you are checking the hook frequently and making sure that it's good, you should have no problems with losing fish. And I also really like the keeper that they got on there. I'm not even sure if they make this hook anymore, but it's got a wire keeper on there, holds plastic, even in soft plastic, very well. And then as far as weights, like I said, 5/16 is pretty much my go-to. I'll lighten it up in the spring, so lighter weights in the spring, and then later in the year you're gonna want to get heavier and heavier. So flip like 1/2 ounce or 3/8 in the fall, and kind of trigger those fish to get a reaction bite. That bait falls real fast right in front of their face. In the spring, they're a little bit more aggressive, so you can get away with that lighter weight. But it all depends on your situation. Current can be another factor. When you're fishing a river system, I like to usually go with a lighter weight. It's a little bit more natural, falls with the current, especially when you're fishing log jams and stuff like that. But that can be this stuff can be applied to pretty much any situation, and it's done well for me. I didn't get to flip much this year fishing the Toyota Series, but when I did, it definitely worked out. Like the Toyota Series Championship, I weighed I think 4 of my fish flipping. I weighed a couple fish on Champlain flipping, and those Great Lakes BFLs last year, lots of flipping done there. But that's just a little rundown. I keep it very simple, and in my opinion, that's how you can get fish in the boat. But thanks again, guys, for watching another episode of Tackle Rat, and we'll see you.